Hallo? Hallo? Der, ja. Okay. Yes. On with the glasses. On with the. Yes. Yeah. Now I'm in California mode. Sunglasses. Oh, finally into that LA mode.
We're looking at cloud pictures from Florida. I'm so excited about this. I mean, as a biologist, this is our first mankind's, or what I would like to say, it's life on Earth, first really attempt to go with that rocket. Life on our planet really tries to go its first real attempt to take the step to become a multi-planetary species. So, at least to me, this is a very historic moment. I'm about that Los Angeles thing. I mean, it's just creepy. I think but I think everything is creepy from before. Ever since Oumuamua, or the 2024 article. I mean, it was brilliant. I knew it. And no one, but I've been working with this for years and years and years, and all the pieces fell into place. And I fully understand those of you that think this just is some crazy. I can say whatever I want. I can write whatever I want, but in the end, it's the scientific community that needs to absorb this. But it's not easy for me or for any person to make the scientific community to absorb your work. Why should they care? I mean, they have their own work. There are so many obstacles. But what I suspect I'm seeing now is that the Fermi life forms, they actually start to want to get attention by signaling, by doing this crazy stuff stronger and stronger, and it confirms the theory more and more the closer they come. So what I imagine is that we are now in a phase where I'm about to get some attention for the theory. And it's not me that I don't really want the attention, to be honest. I don't want to be famous or anything. That's one of the reasons I use gods or some stuff. I mean, I'm 50 years old now. I'm way over that stage. I understand that to be a famous person is probably a burden. I see it more as a burden. But so this is pure science for me. And of course, I would like to have some. I have head biotech. Of course, there are some motivation, some financial motivation, but it's a scientific message that I'm really excited about, because then it's much more about money than money. Now we're talking about the eternal paradise state. It's just incredible that I think this could be her first taste, real taste of a real paradise, and not only something we fantasize about. This is so exciting for humanity because the consequences of this discovery is so enormous. I mean, even 5% chance would have been was exciting. But now things are happening. I have always seen it first. I've always been ahead of everyone else in this particular field. There are plenty of scientists that are better scientists than me. They're smarter than me, can do more than me. They, of course, they can catch up, and I hope they catch up and take this thing further down the road. Since I discovered this and have been working on this theory by myself, I'm the expert now. But if it, let's say it's true, just in a matter of a few years, there are just hordes of other scientists that will take over. And I hope they will, because then you have this quantum, this physicists, the mathematicians, the astrophysics, when they can start to like analyze, and if this is true, it means that we have made connection with a higher life form. And that they can make the connection, they can establish this, say that they can make this they can make this as a consensus, a mainstream thing that, or humanity around in 2026, their humanity understood that we've understood that we started to communicate or made a connection to a mother life form. But even I didn't, but that I was perhaps the first, I saw it first, but it doesn't mean that I am the smartest. It just means that I looked at the right place. But I hope that this clever scientists start to use their resources on this. If I see it, we can actually understand that humanity, we can start to understand that we have made connection with a higher life form. The theory must be true, of course, but let's say it's true, then it will become a consensus in the scientific community, and they will start using resources on this Artemis machine model and their approach theory. And now they can maybe start to really prove it and use statistics, use p-values and calculate the signals, go through it over again, run it through their machines, and use all their resources on this, and come out with the consensus. Yes, it's true. There is a life form approaching Earth, as then Spomberg predicted. But the beauty then is, let's say in 10 years, if the theory is correct, the signals will continue to get stronger. So there is only a question of time before this will happen, before they start to pay attention to this and use their resources on this, that's when things really start to, to give a practical usage for humanity. That's when they can really establish this as a consensus, as to make it, and for the first time that humanity make science out of what we used to call religions. It all started, this interest started with music. Well, I found in the Christmas, I found them all. The first ever recording our band did back in 1994. That it was during the black metal thing in Norway. We have, I was in that generation. When that happened, I was like 16, 17 years old. That was when this, the guy called Greven, the band Bursum, they started to set the churches on fire. I mean, if you have seen the movie Lords of Chaos, that's about this period of time. And I remember that shock called Helvete, Hell. I remember that shock. And I was so, when I look back now, I'm very fortunate I'm very glad that I was a youth in those exact years that I was able to experience it, because it really hit the nerve in my personal interest in this hell, doomsday, maybe, and then also indirectly paradise, right? But now as I see it, it got a happy ending. And in the 2025 article, the fifth main article in the article series on the fourth law, actually use the black metal youth rebellion back in the early 1990s I use it as an example to actually try to project how the demons would look like if the fourth law is true. So I could explain that, because when I have posted that on Reddit, I have gotten some questions about that particular illustration, because it's an illustration of when this wall with hearts, which should be a 100% love, is turned 180 degrees, like a perfect lie, 180 degrees, like a mathematically perfect lie. So, but you can only do that when you have the energy context, constant abundance, and reduced chaos. That's when, according to the theory, that's the first time evil traits can do that, can hide themselves perfectly or camouflage themselves perfectly. So if it was that triggered the black metal, satanic youth rebel back in the 1990s, and it's very interesting, because it was a rebel, and all rebels, all the way back to Beatles even. Then you're supposed to have short hair, and the Beatles grew their hair down here, and that was a rebel, because their mom and dad said, "Oh, you should have your hair short," and then they do the opposite; they grow it long. And the same with the girls. If their mother and father said, "Well, can't you have your hair long as the other girls have?" Then no, we ain't gonna get it chunk. When you are in that youth period at 15, 16, 17, 14 or 18. You know, it's normal to be rebellious, to become independent in that youth period. So, but with the black metal, so if that was also the case with the black metal rebel, that they did the opposite of what they rebelled against, because now I can't like flame, but I have pretty good knowledge of that topic, and I even experienced the rebellion, but I never thought about, well, now we are doing the opposite of what we are. No, we was just caught up in this culture. Like, well, it started with the church burnings and this Greven guy thought about. We were just caught up in this because this guy that burned churches and there were some murders. And then eventually he killed Øystein Aarseth and Tøyen, not far away from here. And that's when it's really accumulated and okay, everybody knew who Greven was. So the general rule in a rebellion, in the youth rebellion culture, is that they will do the total opposite of what they rejected. There are also branches of the black metal scene. For example, local bands like, for example, Minas Tirith, which sort of wasn't black metal, but more like prog death. It's about hell, about, for example, Satan, that we're going to hell and all this stuff. So the idea with that illustration in the 2025 article, when that plate of love has turned perfectly 180 degrees, and then there's a picture of Øystein Aarseth. But I must say, Øystein Aarseth, he was probably the one. If he had lived today, it wouldn't be any doubt he would be like, oh, Øystein Aarseth. I think he really, because, but he never lived to see the black metal's rise to the mainstream. But he didn't want that either, so, yeah, so Øystein Aarseth, he never got to see. But I'm not sure if he had liked what he saw. My point is to use Øystein Aarseth's promo pictures, because I'm pretty sure that he was very much involved in what type of promo pictures that was, how he presented his artistic work, how his promo pictures appeared. So I'm pretty sure that the whole of his heart and the whole of his soul was involved when he picked out these famous promo pictures of him. Then he was probably satisfied with his rebellious urge, like, now I really grew my hair long. And the parents said to be short, like, so it's this artistic thing that he didn't know what he actually was doing. But my suggestion in the 2025 article was that actually he was, without him thinking about it, he was actually projecting real demons behind the lie. Because in the context of the fourth law of thermodynamics and the Paradise Machine model, it's supposed to be a lie, total lie, not a total lie, a 180 degrees lie. So when they said solidarity and peace and love and everybody come together safely on Earth, that was 100% lie. So the opposite. When they said love, the truth, not consciously, I'm not saying that the socialists back then was said, "Oh, now we're gonna say love, but we actually mean evil." No, I think their unconscious brains used the opportunity that Norway had with the constant abundance of energy because of the oil and gas. So what I'm saying, the conditions for evil traits in Norway was perfect. So if that was the case, as the fourth law of thermodynamics fail, it was natural. It should happen in these conditions with the thermodynamic and the reduced chaos. Then evil traits will need to lie, so they should just lie and lie and lie. And under these conditions, they should be able to perfect the lie, evil traits. So, and the one thing that needs the lie should be evil.
They're saying their goodbyes now, and I feel a bit guilty sitting here, documenting this dilemma with the NASA curse. Because I keep saying that I hope they don't crash. I hope the rocket doesn't explode. And it's very much because of exactly what's happening now. Because now they are saying goodbye. If it were to explode, then it's the last time they'll have had contact with their nearest and dearest. 10 minutes before the launch, I'm going to end this current stream and starting up a new one. So if you happen to be on X, for example, a brand new fresh stream will pop up, and that particular one should be well synchronized, at least for the first few crucial minutes, so that I can catch any potential explosion exactly as it happens live, instead of it showing up 8 minutes behind. It's to avoid that I'm shocked that the rocket exploded when half the world was watching it 8 minutes earlier. NASA is now very busy. Because things are starting to go down, it's a critical situation for NASA now. With these marathon live broadcasts, it's incredibly difficult to always keep yourself interesting. So, it looks like we'll have quite a bit of dead time here then.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's been a victory for collaborate across the borders of different nations.
It is a very, very emotional and touching moment, and it is also a victory for science, for salsa, for mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, medicine, psychology, social sciences. There is a tremendous amount of science that goes into achieving something
The
like
whole
that.
Telema-sect, you could say.
An individual who
A
has worked
victory
for
for
many
the
years to make this
entire
happen.
Telema-sect, you mean? I really need to go to bed now. And I just want to say thank you to anyone who might have been watching. I tried to put on a bit of a show also, you know? But what can you really do when you are live 21 hours, right? But if you haven't liked it, then just turn it off, you know? So if there's anyone who's found it a bit funny sometimes, then I've had a bit of fun, but I like to entertain myself in a way, you know? So